Thank you, Cathaoirleach. I'd like to welcome Senator. I'd like to welcome the Minister to the House, and I'd like to ask the Minister for Social Protection if she is in a position to consider the provision of social welfare support to those self-employed people who now find themselves unemployed. As the Minister will be aware, there are a large number of people who were formerly self-employed and are now unemployed who are entitled to a very limited range of social welfare supports. The importance of providing support for unemployed are unable to find work by virtue of unemployment, illness, etc. cannot be overstated. However, this facility is not available to the self-employed. Self-employed people pay PRSI at the S rate of 4%. People who come under this category include farmers, professional people, certain company directors, people in business of their own, subcontractors and a range of self-employed people. Class S provides cover for a widow's pension, contributory pension, maternity benefit, adoptive benefit and bereavement grants. It does not, however, provide job seekers benefit. You will agree, Minister, that this cover, while welcome, is very limited in scope. Over the last decade or so, self-employed people have made an enormous contribution to this country and the economy. Indeed, it is safe to say that the small and medium enterprises is the very backbone of this country and will remain so. If we are to recover economically, it is the SME sector that will lead the way in the recovery. But unfortunately, we have seen a rather stark contraction of this sector in the last few years. Many businesses have closed and many self-employed find themselves out of work. These numbers do not appear on the live register. Indeed, in the third quarter of 2011, 12,900 self-employed people lost their jobs. Now, extending social welfare protection to self-employed people achieves at least two objectives. The first is a matter of social justice, which I believe, Minister, you have a deep interest in pursuing. I think it is not right that self-employed people should not have to use their life savings or the earnings of their partners. This is a matter of fairness. The second objective is reducing the risk for those entrepreneurs who wish to start up their own businesses. By providing a safety net to those who wish to set up their own businesses makes perfect sense at a strategic level as well. We are committed to building an indigenous sector based on the SME sector. To do this, we need to put in place structural reforms. Many reforms are needed, and I know that you, Minister, are playing your part in this area. Providing social welfare support for self-employed people is a part of this process. I have spoken to many people in the sector, and they said that they would be more than happy to pay full PRSI. So I am asking you, Minister, if you will give consideration to this proposal. Thank you, Cathaoirleach.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Self-employed persons, as Senator Landy has said, are liable for PRSI at the Class S rate of 4%, which entitles them to access long-term benefits such as state pension contributory and widows, widowers or surviving civil partners pension contributory. Ordinary employees who have access to the full range of social insurance benefits pay Class A PRSI at the rate of 4%. In addition, their employers make a PRSI contribution of 10.75% in respect of their employees, resulting in the combined 14.75% rate per employee under full rate PRSI Class A. For employees earning less than €356 per week, the rate of employers' PRSI is 4.25%. It may be noted that self-employed workers generally achieve better value for money by paying social welfare or social insurance as compared with employees. In terms of benefits, the 2005 actuarial review of the Social Insurance Fund found that a self-employed contributor can expect to receive over 10 times what he or she contributes to the Social Insurance Fund compared to the employee who on average only gets 3 times what he and his employer contributes. This is despite the fact that the range of benefits available to employees is greater. In this context, Senator Landy should be aware that the market cost of an inflation-linked annuity with $12,000 a year in initial benefits, this is the approximate value of the state pension to which the self-employed people gain access by virtue of the PRSI currently paid, is in excess of $300,000 without any associated survivors' benefits. Any changes to the PRSI system to extend the full range of social insurance benefits, including job seekers' benefit to self-employed people, would have significant financial implications and would have to be considered in the context of a much more significant rise in the rate of contribution payable. I established the advisory group on tax and social welfare last year to meet the commitment made in the programme for government. The advisory group will examine and report on issues involved in providing social insurance cover for self-employed people in order to establish whether or not such cover is technically feasible and financially sustainable. In addition, the actuarial review of the Social Insurance Fund, which is due to be completed in 2012, will examine this matter, and I think that will be very helpful to the discussion. Self-employed workers may establish eligibility to assistance-based payments such as job seekers' allowance. They can apply for the means-tested job seekers' allowance if their business ceases or if they are on a very low income as a result of downturn in demand for their services. In general, their means will be taken into account the level of earnings in the last 12 months in determining their expected income for the following year. And in the current climate, account is also taken of the downward trend in the economy. As in the case of a non-self-employed, unemployed claimant of job seekers' allowance, the means of a husband, wife, civil partner or cohabitant will be taken into account in deciding on an entitlement payment. But I want to thank Senator Landy for raising this very important issue. I know how much he's concerned about it, and to say that I will be awaiting what the Advisory Group on Social Welfare has to say about this.
Brief question, Senator.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. I thank the Minister for what I consider to be a very positive response to this adjournment debate, and I do accept that self-employed people are allowed to apply for means-tested job seekers allowance. But as you know, Minister, this is a very cumbersome process, and it can take anything up to 6 or 8 months. And in the meantime, people are actually have nothing to live on, literally. I would ask the Minister, in the context of we're trying to kickstart the economy, that for every job that we can create, we're taking somebody off the live register. We're saving approximately 20,000 per person per year. The one big issue, and I've been involved through county enterprise boards and leader companies, etc., in helping people to start up businesses, the one big issue is the concern that if the business is not successful, that they have no fallback position. So it's actually a deterrent for people to start their own business. So I'd ask the Minister to keep this issue live. I look forward to the responses as well from the group that you set up and from the actuarial review, and hopefully we can revisit this in the coming months. Thank the Minister.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. I think this week is we were just in the run-up to voting day in the election last year, and I think for members on all sides of the House, I think one of the most memorable features of the election, and one of the saddest, was the number of people in construction who had good firms, gave good employment, and found that everything had basically disappeared. And many of them are the kind of people that Senator Landy is referring to. Senator Landy also raised the possibility that people might be allowed to make a voluntary contribution amounting to the current total of employer and employees. I certainly think that merits examination because I do know the distress level in relation to self-employed people can be very, very high in this circumstance, but also, you know, many of these people ran good businesses and worked very hard particularly people from a construction background during the boom. And, you know, it is important that we help them as much as possible to get back on their feet. So I will certainly come back to the Senator when we have the actuarial valuation and when I have the report of the advisory group. As the Senator has acknowledged, and I'm grateful for that, there are, you know, cost issues that in the current climate I have to take account of.